Hello, welcome to Hayridge Model Rail. I'm Alan. In this video we finish connecting up the circuit boards, check the servos and run some trains. So I have been busy connecting up all the network accessories, and I now have to put this three-way knuckle connector in, connect it up to the cables that I've put through, and then run some cables to the final circuit board, and then I can get the layout set up, get it tested, and just trim down the actuating wires. So we'll get that all sorted out next. Some standard 4-core alarm cable which I purchased from B&Q. So just to keep the cables tidy, I give myself a couple of inches on the end, and then I do a nice tight twist, and then I just twist the cables together between my fingers. Which, when you're doing long runs, can get a little bit cumbersome. You can do it by putting in the end of a drill, and then at the other end just another couple of tight twists just to keep it all together. Give yourself a couple of inches. That's it, and I just tidy them up. So you've got, got a braided wire, and now I can put my link in from my connector to the final circuit board. I always cut my cables a little bit too long, just so that I can adjust them if I need to. The ferrules are definitely a worthwhile investment. They certainly make connections a lot easier. To be honest, don't know why I didn't invest sooner, but I have now. We'll get these cables done. So once you get used to your cable diameters and that, you know what size ferrules you're using, and obviously just buy the size ones you need to match up with the cable. So yeah, it's offer it up, push it through so that it's just protruding, and again just pull it back gently with my thumb and finger. And then a quick crimp, and we're done. So we will now there, and use that one. That's it. That one in there. What one in? There, and the red one. That one. And then to keep it tidy, we could feed it up from the bottom and back in. Just to take up some of the sap. So these ones are white. I always make, when I'm making circuit boards, I always make my 5-volt supply is always my centre pin. It makes it easier. If you do accidentally wire something wrong, your 5 volts is always in the centre, so therefore if you're using header pins, you can't put 5 volts across something that shouldn't have it. If the signal on the ground around the wrong way, although it's not ideal, it shouldn't do any damage. So I'll just finish off by tidying this wiring up. And the reason for this connector is when I finally extend the boards further, I'll have connectors out of here going to another DIN socket, which will then supply power to the next board. So there'll be another set of cables down and into one of these. So the layout is set up now. We're going to test all the points. I've got the connection between the two boards connected, and now I'm going to plug it in. Plug it in the cable for the accessories and switch it on. So let's lift the board up quickly. Hopefully we'll see some LEDs on. And we have. Hopefully you can see that on the camera. The three boards are powered, which is good. So we are, if you can see all of the points. Yep. So they're numbered one down the far end, or 1A and 1B for the crossover, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Right, so we are zoomed in on point or crossover number 1. Hopefully so we're happy with 1. Check number 2. That was just the point setting itself. So that was number 2, so that's number 3. And number 4. Number 5. Ooh. Okay. Got a bit of a problem there. Interesting. All 3 of these points on this side of the board aren't working. So I have to flip the board over and see what's going on there. I'm back with the second half of the boards. I've tested the continuity. Everything seems to be fine. I got a funny little connection somewhere. I think it was on the positive, which is the white cable coming in from the board lead jumper, which I also needed to reprogram the circuit board because it wasn't remembering the addresses. That's all done, and after a little bit of jiggling, for want of a better term, they are now working. So 5, 6 and 7 number 6 is quite tight, so it does like to pop the servo mount slightly, so that might need a screw or a little bit of super glue just to keep it in place. And then number 7 actually works really well, and as you can see on the circuit board, you get 3 flashes on the green LED which indicate the movement and the actual network address being registered. So again, we will try turning the board upright. Hopefully nothing will cut out, and we'll give them another try, and then we can try, hopefully, to trim off the excess cable or excess pin actuators. What I'm going to do now is mark just above the actuator pin, so I know where I want to cut it, and I'm just going to check it a couple of times to make sure that the throw's not creating an arc that is too much or too little, and the pin's going to disappear down through the hole of the point. So we'll get that checked, and then get the first one trimmed off. Worst case scenario is, you know, one doesn't come out right, I'll bend another paper clip and put a new one in. So I have marked and tested it a couple of times, and now I've trimmed it off. And as you can see, obviously the pin comes up, and then as it creates its arc, it then lowers itself back down. But that seems to be working fine. So with all the servos tested and the actuator arms trimmed, we can now have a test run. So we'll get trains underway. That's 6 foot long. It's not really a long layout, but being able to expand either side and then creating a loop eventually makes this a little focal point at the moment, and cabling permitting, it could be a nice little exhibition layout when it's done. A little DMU service shuttling backwards and forwards, rotating with another unit, and then some shunting in the yard at the front. Obviously eventually I'll have the controller board which will control the signals and detect when trains are entering and leaving blocks, but that's a future project. For now it's just building up what we've got. When that board's ready, I'll install it and get that working. Station, scenery. But now that we've got the points working, it makes it a lot easier to control the track plan. Thanks for watching. Don't forget to like and subscribe, and I'll see you next time.